The biting wind cut through the frozen plains, and snowflakes swirled like tiny daggers across the construction site. Yet, amidst the frost and the groaning of half-built walls, men labored with relentless determination. Stone after stone was laid, even as the mortar threatened to shatter in the sub-zero temperatures. How did they do it? How did medieval builders raise monumental castles when winter seemed to have stopped the world itself? The answer lies not in stubbornness, but in ingenuity. Craftsmen of the Middle Ages did not surrender to the cold. They adapted, invented, and orchestrated a symphony of materials, manpower, and fire to bend stone, lime, and timber to their will. Winter was never an interruption, it was a stage of construction meticulously prepared for months in advance. From the earliest days of planning, the master builders thought ahead. They studied the climate, anticipated the frost, and designed schedules that would maximize every possible day of work. Spring was when the seeds of winter construction were sown. Quarries were cleared, thousands of stone blocks harvested and stored, timber felled and seasoned, and fires for heating mortar carefully planned. Every tool, every resource, every man had a purpose. Stone was cut, shaped, and marked in the warmth of summer. Templates for arches, windows, and defensive battlements were prepared, ensuring that when the snow fell, craftsmen could assemble pre-fitted pieces with minimal exposure to the elements. Timber was sorted: oak for walls and load-bearing structures, pine for scaffolding, birch for fires. Even the lime mortar, so critical to masonry, was stored in ventilated warehouses to prevent moisture from ruining its binding properties. Yet, despite preparation, winter presented challenges unlike any other season. Mortar froze, ground became solid as iron, and the raw materials themselves risked shattering under frost. Builders fought back with heat bonfires, heated cauldrons, and even ingenious alchemical mixtures. Quicklime combined with wet sand created an exothermic reaction so intense that mortar practically boiled in the cold, allowing walls to rise even as temperatures plummeted. Organic additives like animal fat and beer worked slowed freezing, making the mixture pliable enough to endure cycles of frost and thaw. The ground itself could be a formidable opponent. Trenches for foundations could not be dug once the frost took hold. In extreme cases, builders lit massive fires over the worksite for days, melting the frozen earth layer by layer, costly labor-intensive solution reserved for emergencies. Stone blocks, too, were protected under straw, dry leaves, or even manure, which insulated them and provided slight warmth through decomposition. Every material had its winter strategy. Human endurance was equally vital. Thousands of workers were housed in insulated barracks near the construction site, heated by hearths and layered with straw, moss, and earth. Clothing was layered: linen undergarments, woolen shirts, thick leather coats, hats with ear flaps, mittens lined with fur, and boots stuffed with straw or moss. Meals were caloried in salt stews, fatty meats, and fortified drinks to sustain the strength required to wield chisels and hammers in the icy wind. Workdays were shorter, limited by dim winter light, but indoor tasks continued under the glow of oil lamps and torches, keeping workshops alive even when the outdoors was inhospitable. Winter was also a time for interior work. While frost halted exterior masonry at times, carpenters, blacksmiths, and sculptors remained busy. Roof trusses, floor beams, intricate wooden frames, locks, nails, and ornamental sculptures were prepared in heated workshops. Carpenters used templates to ensure every rafter and panel fit precisely. Blacksmiths forged hundreds of doors, hinges, and staples, maintaining tools and creating complex locks to secure the fortress. Stone sculptors carved decorative elements in warmth, ready to be installed as the walls rose again in spring. This parallel workflow ensured no time was wasted. The largest of these winter construction projects were royal endeavors. King Edward I's campaign in Wales during the late 13th century demonstrated the pinnacle of medieval winter engineering. Castles such as Harlech, Conway, and Carnarvon were built under relentless deadlines, with tens of thousands of workers laboring year-round. Firewood, candles, and food were procured in astronomical quantities. Skilled workers received winter bonuses up to 100% of their normal wages, and thousands of laborers were fed and clothed at the king's expense. No stone was left idle, no winter day wasted. The coordination, logistics, and foresight required were unprecedented, a testament to both human ingenuity and royal power. Economic considerations played a central role. Winter construction was expensive, fuel consumption skyrocketed, lighting costs surged, wages increased, and transportation over snowbound roads required sleds and extra horses. Yet the cost was outweighed by strategic necessity. For Edward, every day of delay could compromise military control. For less wealthy lords, careful winter planning was a way to distribute costs over years, preserving manpower and avoiding waste. Even when masonry work was impossible, protection was paramount. Unfinished walls were insulated with thick layers of straw, earth, and occasionally fermenting manure. Straw mats, prepared during warmer months, acted as air gaps to prevent sudden frost damage. Special caretakers monitored these walls, removing snow, repairing breaches, and ensuring the mortar hardened slowly and safely. By spring, the fortress had weathered winter intact, ready to resume construction at full pace. Through all this, winter was transformed from an obstacle into a tool of progress. Builders adapted materials, workflows, and human effort to the season, turning adversity into opportunity. What seems impossible to us today, the raising of massive fortresses in snow and ice, was standard for the masters of the Middle Ages. Their legacy is not merely stone walls and turrets, but a lesson in preparation, ingenuity, and the triumph of human will over nature. By the time the thaw arrived, roofs were ready, wooden frames awaited installation, decorative stonework prepared, and stockpiles of materials ensured immediate continuation. The medieval builder's strategy was methodical, resilient, and brilliantly practical. Anticipate, protect, adapt, and exploit every season. Winter was not a pause but a proving ground. The story of medieval winter construction is more than engineering, it is human drama. Thousands of men, guided by master builders, battled wind, frost, and darkness daily. Every nail hammered, every stone set, every beam hoisted was a testament to human endurance, and as spring's first rays melted the snow, castles stood ready, monuments to a society that refused to surrender to the cold, that transformed winter into a season of creation rather than pause. This relentless ingenuity spread across Europe. Lessons learned in Wales informed construction for decades. Castles and cathedrals alike benefited from winter-honed techniques. Heated mortar, insulated masonry, interior workshops, and careful planning became standard practice. The medieval winter was not a setback, it was a teacher, shaping builders, craftsmen, and the very architecture we admire centuries later. In the end, these castles stand not only as fortresses of stone and mortar but as enduring symbols of foresight, human creativity, and the unyielding spirit of medieval builders. Against the harshest winters, they fought with fire, straw, ingenuity, and sheer determination, leaving behind a legacy that still captivates and inspires us today.